What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Streak Breaker's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the X-Transbots Yaguchi, which I just got from Agabus here recently. Sent it my way. All bought and paid for, love, for my personal collection. And I'm really under the gun. I got a big Halloween party at my house this weekend, and I'm gearing up for a little public appearance here soon, so I got a lot to do, a lot to take care of. So we'll go ahead and do it. Real quick, before we get started, there's a lot of people that hit me up from time to time or drop a comment and say, like, how can I get my collection critique, like, for the dummies? And look, I have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and an email. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. Just hit me up and I'll give you instructions, okay? But anyway, now we're gonna talk about this guy, but in order to do so, we need to first talk about accessories. So he comes with this accessory here, and there's a number of things that you can do with this. You can have him like in the pistol mode. It's chromed out, looks nice. You can tuck this in here and then bend that at like a 45-degree angle. Take your car, open up this section here, slide this into it so that the pegs that palm into the palm of the hand slide into the appropriate grooves, and then tuck it all inside, and it can store the weapon nicely. And he'll hold it with a tab in the palm of his hand just fine. And we'll go ahead and look at car mode. So there it is next to Tiger Tracks. You know, so he's a little bit longer, but I think that that works somehow, some way. I don't know. This seems more realistic scaling-wise compared to the Lambos. I dig it. We have the rubber tires. We have the metal wheels, but it looks chrome, so that's nice. We have the white pearlescent paint over top. We have the very, very, very dark, transparent, opaque, but dark, like transparent windows that I think actually work nicely. The black line works sharp. The turn signals, headlights, or I guess they're not headlights, or they're probably headlights and the other ones are high beams. And then we got the tail lights here in the back. That all works nicely. You got the blinkers and then the brake lights, the exhaust, very clean underneath. No issues whatsoever. There's a couple of things it can do. So the car doors can open, right? And then they can come down here. You see there's a little C-clip here. That C-clip can grab a hold of that peg, and now you can do this bit of business here with the kind of weapons out, right? So that works nicely. Real quick, I forgot to mention, you are supposed to push these little blasters here forward. It doesn't make a huge difference. It's fine either way, and they do tilt up and down, but I didn't miss it, so I wanted to make sure that I commented on it. And all of that can tuck back in. Kind of got to make sure that your front bit gets done first and then the back bit. And then we have the headlights, of course, or high beams that pop up, you know, so all of that works nicely as well. No complaints. I like the little spoiler thing here on the back. Windshield wipers sculpted and painted on. The side mirrors here are attached, which I dig. Little accents along the way. Like, they really, I think, hit all the notes they needed to hit on this. I don't have really any complaints. Rolls like a champ. This is well done. All right, so let's get them transformed. We're going to peel these pieces back here, and then we're going to untab them from the side panels on the door and bring those down. Then we have to break the connection between the hood and the windshield. Slide the legs down. Come on. Split the legs. Then take these side panels, shift them down, and what you're left with is all of this. So open up this panel and fold once, fold twice, and then bring this up and clip it into the foot to lock it into place. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to grab this panel. We're going to grab this panel, bring it down, take this, flip this piece out, up, and over. Oh, make sure that this all tabs in. And then it'll clip in inside. You can adjust the feet later. All right, then we need to move these pieces here that are attached to the doors. In order to do so, you kind of got to get clearance here. So just get these white pieces up and out of the way on both sides. And Then we need to get these flaps out of the way. So just swing them out. Swing them out. You can then bring down the whole hip area and line up so that this all makes sense. And then we need to sort all this out. So there's little kind of support struts inside here. You just want to bring them down. And then this part is sort of hard to understand, but what I think you want to do is manipulate this so that the tab here is facing forward, the panel here is facing towards the front of the bot, and then there's a little tab here. It's hard to see because all this stuff is in black. There's a little tab here that's intended to go into this slot there, like that. And that, like I said, this is my best guess. Because it's not super clear, and if I'm wrong, I'll apologize. All right, come on, girl. All right, and then just make sure that that's facing inward. Untab this and this. Get the arms out of the way. Come around to the front. Collapse these armatures onto the top, and then these whole things slot up. Ooh, does not feel good. Oh God, come on, don't fail, don't fail. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay, all right, we're good. And then these guns come around to the outside. And, well, we can sort them out later. This comes up and over. And here, I think these pieces have to actually be facing inward. Like I said, I have a really hard time making sense out of this. But I think they're facing inward. Then this comes around. There's two tabs on the bumper that tab into two female positions on the doors. One, two. Situate the arms. Bring down the elbow. Open this up. Bring these flaps around. Curl around. These pieces here collapse, and then I think these are kind of supposed to sit against the back of the arm, and then same on this side. Flap around. Oh, and then fix your hand, of course. Down, fix the hand. Collapse the rear window. Bring these down. And I missed a step, so untab this and slide the head forward. That's what was looking weird about it. And then tab it back in. And then I'll clean it up. We'll take a look at it. And let's talk about the figure. This head has a tendency to keep sliding back. So head sculpt is good. I do think that proportionately the head is a little big for the body. Just doesn't help with the aesthetics. Onyx black paint on the helmet, silver paint on the eyes, white paint on the face. The head is on a hinge swivel. You get limited up, a little bit down, and your swivel. These guns are posable. You know, make sure they're extended. And they sort of swivel about, and they rotate down here at the base. So you can do whatever you'd like with those. The shoulders, okay. So we have a slight butterfly forward. We have a butterfly back. We have a hinge that gets you out to 90 degrees. We have 360 around. We have the metallic onyx paint on the shoulders that does look stunning. Bicep swivel. Double jointed elbow that gets you the full run. The forearm has silver and gold, along with some red paint. The wrist swivel, the fingers are on a base pen knuckle, the trigger finger is articulated independently, and the thumb is on a swivel. Interesting. And the shoulder pads, obviously, you can manipulate those around a bit as well, but I think they're intended to sort of sit down in the pocket here. Because they actually, do they even tab in? Nah, I don't think so. But it's fine. Sure, the other arm's the same. Yeah, the guns here in the back, once again, you can get a little wiggle out of them. You can pose them a little bit, depending on your aesthetic preferences there. We have a waist swivel. No ab crunch forward or back. My shoulder, this shoulder is loose. It's just a little bit loose, you know, on this side. Not the best. And then we have the pelvis. So we have red and gold on the pelvis. Manipulate these down. Just keep that squared away. Universal joints for the hips. They get you out for the full Van Damme. They get you forward and back for the full Monty. No problem. This whole thing here rotates. So it's like, I don't know, it gets on my nerves, I'll be honest with you. This figure gets on my nerves. Thigh swivel, tight little joint there. Die cast thighs. Double jointed knee with a squeak, but gets you up until this foot here hits the windshield or the side windows, doors. Ankles, you get ankle tilt up, down, and a rocker. I don't know, man. There's a lot here that doesn't feel finished to me, in spite of how I wish, but at least I didn't break it. You know, so that is good. But, like, the shoulders, the wrist hinge in and out also. The shoulders don't feel completely thought out, and then the build, obviously. The backpack, I think I have it right. But even here, like, you know, this piece is meant to kind of fill in this space, but it only kind of fills it out a little bit. It's just strange. All of this that moves down here kind of gets lost in the sauce. It's all fixable. It's just like, it's just a finicky, like fidgety bot. There's like a lot of stuff and junk hanging off of them everywhere, and you have a tendency to just kind of have to want to keep fixing them. It's just not the most kind of like fun piece to mess with, but it's not hateful. And the more that I do mess with it, the better I do like it. But it is, you know, it doesn't feel great. You know, it feels kind of, I don't know, incomplete in some ways. Size comparison wise, there it is next to a Masterpiece car. So slightly taller, but you know, once you get them posed up and everything, I don't think it'll make a bit of difference to you. And I'll show them to you with the other one, but I'll show them on my shelf because that other one's foot is broke and I don't feel like moving and having to mess with it. And there he is. And my other guy sitting over there to the right. You can get a look at that ankle, Mac. Yeah, eventually Trailbreaker will come forward, and then him and the other guy will flank Trailbreaker on both sides, and that's how this shelf is intended to be set up. But, yeah, for the time being, at least it's balanced, right? Final thoughts-wise, let's start with the negatives. This is a figure that relies an awful lot on posing. Like, I think this looks pretty great, but you put him in like a standing pose and you really get to see kind of all the imperfections and the unfinished look of his flank, the way that the kind of hips and abdomen can get a little wonky on you, the way that the kind of feet are aesthetically designed, the amount of kibble that he has hanging off of him that I know is in the G1 toy, but we had a little bit of room for interpretation, right? So it just relies an awful lot on posing. On top of that, I have some joint inconsistencies, like my shoulder there is pretty loose, my left shoulder, but then the sliding bar for the windshield is very tight. Stuff like that. They could very well break in over time. That little section in the back is sort of hard to make sense of via the instructions or their video tutorials with making sure those flaps collapse properly. It's very kibbly, and there's something about it that does seem extremely unfinished. Moving on to the positives, the materials feel great. Good plastics, good die cast. The majority of the articulation works extremely well. Wish I could have got a little bit more out of the abdomen. Wish I could have got a little bit more out of the ankles. Comes with the appropriate accessories. I love all the kind of car gimmicks with what they did with the doors and the guns and all that kind of stuff. That all works nicely. The headlights. It does feel like it did the G1 toy justice in that regard. The transformation is pretty straightforward, once again, with the exception of that little part in the back. And I do like a lot of the sculpt work here, specifically in the forearms and the pelvis, as well as most of the proportions with the exception of the head. So this is a soft recommend. This is a figure that the more you mess with it, the more you kind of begin to appreciate it. But in the same breath, it does feel like thrown together in some way. And I don't know how else to describe that. I don't think anyone else is going to make these characters, so you know how I feel about that type of stuff. If you want the character, you got to bite the bullet. But it certainly won't be winning any awards from me for Figure of the Year. I can tell you that. I think it's average. I think it's an average X-Transbots release. Interpret that as you will. Hope that helps. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.